Hi, I'm Dallin with Daltron Printing. Today I'm going to go over how to get Klipper running through Linux on your old Android phone. You will have to root your phone, so if that's something you haven't done, go ahead and do that before coming back to this video. I'm going to assume that you have rooted your phone and have a printer with Klipper already flashed onto it. I will show you where you can create the file to flash onto your printer through your phone, but I won't show how to create that because each printer is going to be different, so research that and then come back. So your phone's rooted, your printer's flashed, or you're going to flash it after you get your phone ready. Either one, let's get to it. Okay, so here we are on the computer, and of course files linked in the description. This GitHub repo or README will walk you through everything. This will just kind of be a video tutorial showing a little bit more of it. There is a video tutorial in here, but I don't believe it's it's not in English, so here it is in English. They did it on a Xiaomi. I'm doing this on a Pixel 2 that has been rooted. Let's see, required softwares. So phone is rooted, Klipper has been flashed. Of course you can run the bin or the make file through your phone once you get that figured out. Required software, mobile phone on your phone is the X server, Linux deploy, kernel auditor, and Termux. Now, I would also recommend that you add in Octo4A into this, because getting the USB through the Linux on Android is difficult, but Octo4A has already implemented it and you can use that, so I would highly recommend that. Let's go over to the phone and we'll download all these programs. Okay, we're over here on the phone. First we're going to go get X server. So let's just type in X server. Let's see, X server XDSL, I think it is. Yes. Next thing you want to do is download Linux deploy. Of course, you want to download it from the GitHub rather than the Play Store. As often as you can, use the GitHub for pretty much everything. That's going to be the most up-to-date version. Now we'll go get the kernel auditor. Get it straight from F-Droid. That works. Oh, so it looks like we're going to download F-Droid first, which is fine. F-Droid's a fine program. Okay, so first we're going to go over to X server. Oh, missed it. Close down that. X server again. You gotta very quickly click on the top to get that. You go down to, let's see, mouse emulation mode, and then desktop no emulation. Press OK, OK, and OK again. Of course, nothing's going to be happening on this because it's just for Klipper screen. Alright, and we'll go out of that. And we'll get this running. We'll grant the root permissions. And I think that's pretty much all we have to do on that. Now, we'll go over to Linux deploy. There should be a fair amount of play you can have in Linux deploy, but I'm not 100% sure. I've messed around quite a bit with it. Go over to the main interface here, go to settings. Want lock screen to set as no. Lock Wi-Fi yes. Wake clock yes. Auto start yes. Auto start delay, they recommend 5 seconds, so that's what I'm gonna do. Track network changes, yes. Other options remain default. So should be good there. I think you can probably play around with those if you so desired. And come down to this like filter looking thing, distribution, Debian, architecture. Find out what your phone is and set that. Mine's ARM64. We're gonna go to stable, installation type, directory, installation path. Of course, you can use whatever username and password you want. I'm going to just go with what they have in the GitHub. Okay. Okay. Of course, the password doesn't really need to be that secure since it's just on my phone. And then init enable, init system, want sysv, enable SSH. GUI enable, graphics subsystem, you want to be X11. I think you can confirm or set this up whenever you want. Desktop environment, you want Xterm. Okay, I think from there we're good to go out. Click install, grant super user permissions. Now this installation is going to take a while, so we'll come back when it's done. Okay, so once you have that installed, we're going to hit stop. I'm not sure exactly why it tells you to do this first, but it does say this step is necessary, otherwise it won't start. And now we press start. Okay, now back over to the computer, we're going to open up a terminal. I like to use the terminal app, but you can use command prompt or whatever. Or of course, if you're on Mac, you can use whatever they use. So now we have to SSH into the phone. Of course, find out what your IP address is. Type in yes, and then the password that you set. Okay, so you should just be able to copy and paste. Now, normally when you're going into a Linux distribution, I believe you'd start with updating everything. I think I was trying that and it didn't quite work before. I don't want to redo all this again, so I'm just going to follow their instructions, and if it doesn't work, then I'll go through and update and everything like that. But I would highly suggest just running through all of their suggestions in the order that they give them to you, because their next suggestion or their next instruction is to update. So I guess not their suggestions, but their instructions. So I'm literally just going to go copy and paste all the instructions that they give. Okay, so now cd, nothing, we're already there, so it's all good. And we just have to run Kaya or whatever it's called. Now we need to install Klipper, Moonraker, and Fluid. Their script does not work with MainCell. I believe it would be possible if someone went and updated their script. It didn't look that complicated, but I was fine with Fluid, so that's what I went with. Like they say here, every time you install something, it'll have a prompt saying it can't be started. That's fine, that's what their script does. So, all right, so we'll go through the installs. One, go through Klipper. Okay, right here you're going to want to type in Y for yes. All right, so it looks like everything went good. I do believe, yeah, right here, running in chroot, ignoring command start. So that was the warning they were talking about. And of course, I'm doing this on the computer. You could, of course, do this all on the phone using Termux. You just download that through F-Droid, which they, of course, talk about installing Termux over here. And I have messed around with that, and it seems to work fine. You will SSH into this Linux just like you would everything else. So we're doing it through the computer right now. Install Moonraker, yes. Now that Moonraker is installed, we'll go ahead and install Fluid. You want to yes to add these macros. Okay, now we'll go ahead and install Klipper Screen. Okay, now that you have Klipper screen installed, should just be able to hit back, see that all those are installed properly. Oh, of course, if you were going to make the flash file for your printer, I believe you'd go into advanced and then go through these, firmware building and stuff like that. Of course, make sure to watch videos or read up online on how to do this for your specific printer, but that's where you would do it. That's all we need this for. Now, in here they tell us to, basically we're backing up the fluid config, Moonraker config, and stuff like that using these XFTP, but I think WinSCP will do the same thing, and it's a free program. So we're going to SSH into our phone again. Yes. Okay. So now we have everything here. We're going to printer data and config. We're just going to take these things and throw them onto your computer. Of course, save them on your computer wherever you want. Now we need to delete those files. Delete those 3 selected files. Yes, we do. Now they tell you to do that. We're just gonna copy all of this. Enter login user's home directory. So I think we go back to this guy. I'm just gonna clear this. Okay, so ls. Make sure we're in the home directory. Now we're gonna print and just copy and paste all the stuff that they had. Now that should, if I believe, is there any way to refresh this? Yep. Okay, so that gives us all these things back. Now this printer config isn't going to be the one we want, which we're gonna have to change that later. This homing override, not exactly sure what that is. I'm sure it's just something they put in there. Anyway, we'll continue on. Go back to Debian and execute the following command, which we shouldn't need to. We should already be in the home directory, but in case we're not, we'll do that. Enter the login home directory, do all this stuff. All right, we're gonna paste this. Then please reconnect your phone to the printer. Right now, my phone is at my desk, and I'm not, I don't have it connected to my printer. So it says after phone execution is complete, restart the computer or restart the phone. If there's no problem, this X server XSDL will automatically start and connect to the printer. So I'm gonna go get my phone connected to the printer. This is where a lot of people are going to get screwed up. They're going to run this, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna connect to their printer, and they're going to kind of get stuck. This is where I was for a while, but I figured out that if you install Octo4A, you can use Octo4A as setup, but you do need to modify this configuration Klipper family bash file. Okay, after restarting your phone, you're going to want to reopen Linux deploy and press start, and then press OK to whatever it comes up with. So SSH back into your phone, type in your password, ls just to see. Okay, so that configuration Klipper is the one that we want to modify. There's multiple ways to do this. All right, so the best way to edit this configuration file, I think, would be nano. Let's see. Okay, so we do have nano. Nano configuration underscore Klipper underscore family dot sh. Now, in here, we need to find everywhere, and they do talk about this a little bit in the GitHub. They talk about running this to find out what your 3D printer is connected to via USB or the OTG cable or whatever you have. It says replace this TTY ACM0 with the configuration or inside of here with whatever is recognized by this. But this isn't going to pull up anything when you're connected using Octo4A. If you can get this to work on your phone without using Octo4A, absolutely go for it. It is better than using Octo4A. Octo4A has a problem of every time you restart your phone, Octo4A may or may not change. Now, I believe if I knew how to run this how to work bash files better, I could probably figure out a way to do like an OR statement in here or something like that to switch it based on what Octo 4A gives you. But for now, this is what we're gonna have to do. Okay, we're gonna run over to the phone in just a second to run a command to find out what we need to change this configuration Klipper to. But I just want to show where I found that. I found it from Dark Soul 1, Dark Soul 1. This GitHub repo actually links. This link leads to here. So found it very interesting that this had the information that I needed to continue, and this had all the rest of the information. So right here, we're gonna run this package install su and sudo ls whatever, and then you should see that this links to dev pts 0 or similar. I've had it go from 0 to 1 to 2, and I've had it change every time my Octoprint restarts. So it's really something you got to pay attention to, and I'm sure if you knew what you were doing more, you could change this to have like an if statement, an or statement in here, or something like that. So I highly suggest looking into that. Unfortunately, I don't know what this upper limit is, so I'm gonna leave it and just change it to whatever my phone shows here in a minute. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I apologize for the audio out here. I'm in my garage with my phone hooked up to my printer. We're going to install Termux now so that we can find out which ports the printer is on in the Octo 4A. Best place to get Termux is through the F-Droid app, so go ahead and just install Termux. Okay, with Termux installed, I'm going to install SSH so I can control it from my computer, just so I have some better audio. Okay, it looks like OpenSSH didn't work for whatever reason, and I don't want to spend a ton of time debugging it, so we're just going to have to deal with this audio. What we're going to want to do is make sure package install TSU is installed. I think I already installed it, trying to get OpenSSH to work. Now we'll do... Okay, so now we're going to run that command, which I'll put up on screen. I have to type it in because I couldn't get this connected to my computer. So, of course, you could always pull it up on your phone and copy and paste it, but I'm just going to type it in. And of course, make sure your phone is connected to your printer. Now my phone jumped me over to Octo 4A when I plugged it in. Okay, so it looks like dev pts /1 is what I need to use. So let's go over to computer. Let's go over to the computer and we'll input that. Okay, so I'm having troubles with this. Every time I restart my phone, it's a different number. So I'm gonna try and set up some sort of if statement in here, though I know I'm gonna run into problems later down on this file, and I don't exactly know how I'm going to fix them. But last time I tried this, I got lucky, and it was between 0 and 1 most of the time. I saw 2 at some point, but for the most part, 0 and 1 every time I restarted my phone, and eventually what was in this file matched up with what was on my phone. However, this time it keeps bouncing between 4, 0, and 1, and I really don't know what to do about that. So I'm gonna see if I can't put it in an if statement, do an or, just if it sees any of those, it should still work. I will link to whatever I'm able to come up with if it works in the description below. And again, if there's a better way to do this, please let me know, or let everybody else know in the comments and stuff. Okay, we're gonna restart my phone and see if that works. All right, looks like modifying the phone like that worked. Of course, when I went out to my phone, I restarted it. and opened up Octo4A and ran the Linux deploy. That was a lot of back and forth just to find out what would work here, and turns out running it like this seems to have worked. So I'll link this down in the description or throw it up on a GitHub or do something. There will be a link to this in the description, and you might have to, depending on what your phone gives you, you might have to add in like 2 and 3 or something. I don't know why those didn't show up, but they never did for me. But 4, 1, and 0 did. So from there, we should, every success in 3D printing, we should just be able to go over to our phone's IP address. 94 is what mine was. And here we go. Okay, so it says they're unable to connect, yada yada, but everything else is looking good. This is fluid running off of an Android phone. Now, of course, from here we have to go in and put in your configuration in your printer. So you have to come in and set all this up to your likings. You know, that's beyond the scope of this video. However, right here, I think you need to put in whatever your phone is. I don't think you can do an OR in here. However, at this point, you don't need to restart your phone a whole bunch every time you change this. So the last one mine ended up being, which of course you can just go to Termux and run the or Termux, yeah, Termux or something, and run this, and it should give you what it is right now. So mine ended up being a 0 at the end. So just do a 0, save and restart. For whatever reason, my MCU is refusing to change. I think it's just this printer CFG is refusing to be updated. So, okay, so what I ended up doing it was I went through and found a printer configuration that is closest to my printer. There might have been something bad with the configuration it gave me, but then I was able to update this, save and restart. Now, everything works. Everything is good. I can move things around. Unfortunately, right now, my printer that I have this connected to is in a state of disrepair, and I hope to be updating it soon. But I'm gonna go out to the garage and show that it's at least working out there. Okay, again, I apologize for the terrible audio quality, and I have that printer going right now. So, right here we got the Klipper screen running on the phone, and let's see, I don't usually mess with it, so let's go over to menu, see if we can't at least get this to home or something. Oh, looks like it's a bit buggy on the phone. For the most part, I would just be messing around with it on Fluid anyway. It probably hasn't updated that it got the MCU information. So let's retry. But even if none of that, oh, right here, perfect. Now we can control it from here, home all. On Klipper stuff, you have to home everything before you do anything else. So just like that, we got the Klipper firmware running everything. Now you can run all the setup that Klipper can do, input shaping and all that stuff. All right, now that this has gone all the way to the bottom, I wanted to just move it up a bit. Z-axis. Just show that I am controlling it through here. Nothing else. I don't know how much that's going up. 25? Okay. So it's going to go up 50 since I clicked it twice. Alright, now it's stopped. Click it right there. Perfect. So yeah, everything works as it should. I don't know how well this will run. There's still plenty of tests that can be done, especially on old phones. But it works great. Okay, so this video was a little rough around the edges, I'm sure. I know my editing's not the best and my audio quality and lighting could be better, but I want to thank you for everyone who's watched to this part. I got some closing out thoughts. I would have loved to show some prints before and after of this printer, but it's been having some issues. That's why I want to kind of tear it all down, convert it to direct drive and things like that. But other than that, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or if there's anything I missed or anything I can do better, please let me know down in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and let me know if you have any ideas for future videos. I have some, but If there's anything you want me to try and do, like one idea I had and I really want to pursue is to find the cheapest phone on Amazon, Wish, or whatever. I know Wish would probably give me a freaking cardboard cutout of a phone, but just try to find the cheapest thing, say under 50 bucks. Everyone's looking for Raspberry Pis right now, and maybe not everyone has a random old Android phone lying around like I do, but if you can find a cheap, sub $50 Android phone online, that might be huge. So just let me know if that's something you guys might want to see, and I can order one up. And it might take a while to get to me, but I can make a video on that and see how well that runs. By that time, I should have my printer switched over to direct drive, and I can test things and see how well it runs. I don't imagine you'd be able to run 2 printers off a single phone, but who knows? If you know Linux good enough and are able to change up that script file, you should be able to change it up and get it to your liking. So I really hope this video has been insightful, and I hope you guys can learn a lot from this. Hopefully this continues to improve so we can have even more options as far as computers, small little Raspberry Pis or small old phones. Just more options to run Klipper or run anything on is always a good thing. So I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember who you are and make good choices. Thank you.